If you were no longer affected by the judgment of others and you stopped judging yourself, would you make different choices? Why make choices in your life based on judgments instead of on your awareness of what would create the life and living you desire? Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices Radio Show, Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on A2Zen.fm.
Welcome, everyone, to the Inspired Choices Radio Show. I am your host, Christine McIver. I'm so excited for you to be here tonight. We have another potent topic that is resonating for me and for a lot of people out there. So tonight we're talking about judging others, separation, and our health. Three things that can really, when combined together, is like a very heavy mix of crazy. And I have a wonderful guest with me. Her name is Renee Harrison, and Renee is going to be joining us on the line live in just a few minutes. So how many of you out there judge yourself a little bit and possibly judge others as well? We've got a lot of separation that's happening in the world right now. Not that this is new. It's certainly not new. Separation and judgment is kind of an old pattern that's been going on for, well, probably as long as humans have been on planet Earth. It seems to be that we're much more aware of it right now, especially due to the fact that, you know what, we're all online. There's people in every country all around the world that have access to it all. So it is becoming more, I would say, seems a lot more heavy or a lot more significant. But anyways, we'll get into that shortly. Before we do that, and before we bring our guest, Renee, on the line, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a possibilities coach. And what is that? I work with individuals and organizations to create what they desire to be possible in the world, that they know is possible, that they haven't yet made possible, become possible. So that could be anything from learning how to speak to your children, moving through raising teenagers in a pretty interesting time and place in this reality. Maybe it's about moving out of a relationship. I actually have a program called Divorce with Dignity, and perhaps it's you want to end a relationship, but you really do want to do it with as much ease as possible. Maybe you would like to learn how to have more ease with your body. I'm an energy healer. Perhaps you'd like to start a business, or you'd like to really expand your business exponentially and you're feeling stuck. So I work with people using all sorts of different tools. I'm a professionally trained coach. I took my training from the CTI, Certified Training Institute, Coaches Training Institute, rather. I also am an HR professional. I did human resources for over 20 years here in Canada. As well, I've worked with a lot of different businesses. I've done sales sales was my very first job, and I'm also professionally trained with Access Conscious. I'm a certified facilitator with them. I've done a lot of different things, and I've worked with a lot of people from all around the world, both individuals and businesses. And you know what, really diving into something that is challenging, I enjoy, and I find a lot of things that are challenging for others quite easeful. So I love to have a lot of fun, and I know that anything truly is possible. So if you would like to connect with me and you would like to learn more about what it is that I do, I have a lot of different programs out there. One of my programs is called Beyond the BS Business Studies. This is where we dive into every area of business, and we really do what is required to expand your business. I also have a program called Be the Dominatrix of Your Life. And whether you're a male or a female, it's about really diving into and leaning into your life more and more so you can have what it is that you desire and require, but not from a push energy, from a no matter what it takes, I am going to change this energy, and having fun with it. Like, oh my gosh, how many of us desire change in our lives and it's not so much fun and we've been doing more push? Well, how about we just start doing some more dance instead of the push? So this is some of the things that I do. I also, as I said, I'm a certified facilitator with Access Consciousness, and I have the Access Consciousness bars and foundation classes that I facilitate here in Ontario, and I'm willing to travel. Where are you? Would you like to have me come play with you? I would love to do that and see what we can create in your town, in your area, in your city, with the people around you so that we can bring more consciousness and more ease and, you know, just have more awareness in the world so we can expand what's not working for us. The classes, the Access Consciousness Foundation class is one of the most potent classes I have ever taken, and I've taken it many times, especially when I'm facilitating it. I'm going over the material as well, and it's phenomenal. So the next class is coming up in Kitchener, Ontario, and that is coming up in August the 19th through the 22nd with my wonderful host, Dee Hughes, and we are going to be creating a massive change. So if you'd like to learn more about the programs that I facilitate and what else is possible, even if it's working one-on-one, you can contact me, Christine, at inspiredchoices.ca. So what's going on in your world that you would like to change? Last week we actually had on Janelle Hoyland, and we were talking about spontaneous deliberation of creation, and it was a fantastic show. And today we have another fantastic guest, and Renee Harrison, and she is joining us, and we're going to be talking about judging others, separation, and our health. So judging others or even ourselves creates separation. Most of us know this. Did you know as well that it can and does have a major effect on your health? Everything is energy, and the energy of judgment is one that our bodies, mind, and spirit are all affected by. So tonight, Renee Harrison, who is an Integrative Nutrition Health Coach, we are going to be diving into the subtleties and not so subtle implications of judgment on everyone involved. Renee is a lifelong learner, a subtle energy specialist, I love that, a Reiki practitioner, an integrative nutrition health coach who thrives on new conversations of how we can heal ourselves in body, mind, and spirit to be the whole and happy people we were meant to be. Because suffering is optional, okay? I'm going to post that somewhere. I love that. Renee is on a path of deliberate creation herself and is happiest when she can teach what she learns and loves to witness the personal growth and transformation of her clients as both learn what they need most to connect to their inner knowing, to heal, release recurring pain, and open their hearts. Her empathetic gifts have been developed from a childhood of hurt and misguidance. She loves to respond to emails, so feel free to contact her at Renee Harrison shapeyou@gmail.com. So, Renee, welcome to the show.
Hi, Christine. It's so awesome to be here.
I'm so glad you're here. Oh, my gosh. This topic, I think people are either going to be pulled into it with a magnet or they're going to run away from it because it is so it's like, you know what, you've got to pay attention and you've got to look at your crap, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And how much of us don't actually want to look at our crap, and we don't want to own our crap?
Well, I'm with you there. I didn't for a long time myself. I avoided it, ran from the plague, and there was many years where I just, bumbled along, and now I'm facing it, and I'm feeling a lot lighter.
Fantastic. So tell me where this all started for you with that. Like you said that all of this started when you were a young girl.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was even thinking about some more of the things that I was judging to be, wrong. We judge things as right, wrong, good and bad, as you well know yourself. And one of the things that I was judging just from my childhood was the divorces that were occurring in the family over and over again, my grandmother, my mom, and I was saying to myself, I made a vow to myself, I'm never going to be like that. I'm never going to get a divorce. I'm going to marry and it'll be for the rest of my life. And it doesn't always work out that way, does it?
No.
And so what do you do with that? When you're faced with that, so I beat myself up for a while. I judged myself for when my marriage didn't work out, and I, had to face the divorce and face the failure. That was a tough time to go through, and
right.
and then all the judgments in the community and so on.
Well, yes, people can do a lot of judgment. I know that when I went through a divorce, not once but twice, really hesitated the second time. I probably stayed in the relationship a lot longer than I should have, and it was the catalyst around that was the judgment that I was trying to avoid.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting how judging ourselves, how much that can actually, how much it actually does motivate our choices, right? The judgment of ourselves.
Yes. Yeah, because I had, when I was saying, as a child, I looked at these other older women in my family as failing, and I had this belief that which was a false belief, obviously, that it's a failure in life to not be able to make it through a relationship. And yet, so many times you don't want to stick with something that is toxic or not a right fit, or So
right.
I had to be kind to myself. Eventually, I had to face that and be kind and forgiving.
Yes, that being kind to ourselves is very, very important. So tell us what for you started to pop when you were looking at the judgment, the separation, and your health. Like, when did you get to, what brought you to the point of being this coach, the health nutritionalist? What brought you to this?
So 5 years ago, I was in a law of attraction coaching course, and I had an awareness, or like a moment in time when I was invited to a wedding with some friends, and I was sitting there listening to them, have saying their vows, and they had written their vows themselves and custom made them. And I was listening to them, and then it dawned on me, just sort of like this cold water splash, sort of feeling of, oh my, we're not, upholding our vows and so on, and it doesn't feel right. So I made this change, and then while I was sort of struggling to get back on track, what do I want to do with my life now? Which direction do I want to turn? I remembered I had wanted to be a naturopath prior to marriage, and I had strayed off of that, natural, nutritional, self-loving, self-caring kind of path. And so I returned to it, and I entered a course called, the school's called the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and I got on to being a health coach. And it was during that journey, that year-long course, that I detoxed my mind, my body, my spirit, everything. I let go of so many limiting beliefs and, things that I had thought for a really long time were the right things for me, of how I was, treating myself and talking to myself. I just let go of so many different negative, toxic things. including
there's
relationships.
so much that we've shoved into our minds, right? Listen,
Yes.
we're going to go for our first break, Renee, and when we get back, we're going to delve even deeper into this. So I'm very excited for the topic because I'm looking forward to more change in this area for sure. So you are listening to Inspired Choices on A2Zen.fm, where we are speaking with Renee Harrison, judging others, separation, and our health. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
Do you know a child who is frustrated and disruptive in class? Who struggles to connect? Who's bright but still not making the grade? Have you ever wished that there were a kinder, gentler way to support children with difficulties in school or at home? Many children find Access Bars is benefiting them greatly. A study is being conducted to document findings in an effort to assist kids everywhere with these life-changing benefits. Will you donate and help to assist kids thrive? Visit www.accessyourbrilliance.com to support our study. What else is possible for kids now more than ever?
What if you really do change molecules by your interaction with them? What if the change you've been looking for is right before your eyes? What if the uncomfortableness that comes with difference could be fun? What if the closed-minded people of the world no longer determined our world? What if gratitude trumps judgment every time? What if your kindness healed the world? What if the earth is asking for your help? And what if you had the resources to give it? This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Picasso, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Aristotle all knew to be true. Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. What if there are no dumb questions? Or any question too large? What if you being you are the gift and the change this world requires? Is now the time? For more questions to create a change in your world, sign up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. My gift to you, beingyouclass.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255, TALK, or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us. Our Skype name is A2Zen.fm. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I have a wonderful guest, Renee Harrison, and we are talking about judging others, separation, and our health. Where in your life have you been judging others? Did you learn that as a child? Were you born judging others? Or did you buy into somebody else's reality that judging others was a way to find what was right or what was wrong? Did you in turn begin to, when we're judging somebody else, we then start looking at ourselves. Did you also start to judge yourself? Am I doing that? Where am I doing that? Am I also doing that? Right? Have you been judging the good and the bad of you, the right and the wrong of you? Have you been judging how you are not getting things correct? Have you been judging yourself around how you keep messing it up, right? I know in my life, I have judged myself so dynamically, as Renee and I were talking about divorce, right? How many people, oh my God, have judged themselves so dynamically around not getting their relationship to work, that their marriage, quote unquote, failed. That there is so much insane judgment in this piece. And you know, there's three things that we don't learn in school. We don't learn how to be a parent in school. We don't learn how to be a marriage partner in school, and we don't learn how to deal with money in school. What are the three most dynamic topics that people are constantly coming to coaches for, that people are reaching out for assistance? They're doing that around these three topics. It's absolutely intense. How many people are honestly looking for the guidance because we just don't have those tools? What else truly is possible in that area? So, Renee, do I have you with me here? Oh, I think we might have a little technical problem. So I'm just going to keep going on, and I'm sure Renee will be back with me shortly. So, you know, when we are judging ourselves or when we're judging others, do you ever find that when you get upset or you go, like, what a jerk? Can you feel that energy, guys? Do you feel that?
Okay, and it looks like we're having some interesting things going on. So, folks, we will get this technical juggling act straightened out here. It looks like Christine's line has dropped, so we're going to ask Christine to call back in. And we're going to go to a little short commercial, and we'll be back with Christine and Renee talking about this amazing topic. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show.
What if you really do change molecules by you?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
We've got you back.
I was having the grandest conversation by myself. The brilliance was, I was impressed with me. I'm just saying.
Awesome. Okay, share it with the world now. We have you and Renee both on at the same time, so I'm going to let you have your show back.
Shut up. Thank you. You know, doing live radio, it really does. I mean, you got to drop all your judgments of yourself when you're doing live radio, right, Renee?
Absolutely.
Oh, my God. How much fun are we having? So, Renee, what I was saying was, when we came back from break, what I was saying was that everything is energy. And when we go and we judge someone else, right, we actually, you know, there's an energy to it, right? And we can perceive that energy in our bodies, right? Like right now, if I was like, you know, oh, that person really ticked me off, right? Mm-hmm. The words and the energy we actually start to perceive it in our bodies. Do you have any idea, Renee, how quickly the energy of judgment, how quickly we start to lock that into our bodies? Is it instantaneous that we start to do that?
We do affect our, yes, everything starts to shrink. I mean, Bruce Lipton talks about that fear, any kind of fear, and judgment is a form of fear. It kills our cells. It restricts them. And so when he was doing like experiments in the lab, he was proving in these petri dishes, the environment of the cells was either going to be healthy and grow, or they were going to become cancerous and die. And so a lot of our health issues come from the environment, and that's part of. I was thinking, when we were on break there, the other catalyst to getting me into deciding to be a naturopath, getting into becoming a health coach, is my own health. My own body was, failing, in lots of different ways, and I had created a lot of illness from my dysfunctional family, the violence and stuff that was in my family, and so on. Just even being hard on myself, being critical, and expecting perfection all the time. So definitely, and it does happen right away. But we can reverse that. I've again, proven that to myself. I didn't have to do it in a lab, but I experimented with being my first client, and there's a lot of health issues that have disappeared now.
So what have you seen in what you've been doing? What kind of health issues have you seen disappear?
For myself, I had arthritis that was diagnosed when I was 13, and it was almost crippling me. By the time I was 30, I was pretty sure that I was on the road to being in a wheelchair, and there was hardly a morning that went by that I wouldn't get up and be stiff and sore and whatnot. But I am not, honestly, I'm not kidding you. I'm pain-free. Like, it's very rare. And it's usually what happens is, well, just recently my boys wanted to have s'mores when we were camping in the backyard. And they said, well, Mom, you got to try some. And I had a couple of marshmallows. And the next day I woke up, I felt really achy in my joints. And I went, I know what this is. So when I returned to the habits that I used to have, which was to eat a lot of sugar and so on, white flour products and things, I get this automatic reaction. It's like my body remembers, I know what to do with this, and it immediately attacks the joints, and it immediately gives me the pain, and the inflammation comes back. So
that's one thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
So are there ways that, yes, we want to look at what works for our body from a food perspective, and what works for our body from a even sleep perspective and movement perspective. What would you suggest we do when we're looking at it from how does the judgment and the separation affect our bodies? Like this, I'd really like to get into the piece about separation even more, Renee. We're so aware of it. I'm going to say we're more aware of it today than we've ever been about the separation that's in the world.
Yes.
But I don't think there's less of it, or more of it, rather, than there was, 100 years ago.
No, I would agree with you. There was a lot of judgment, particularly religious or political judgment, 100 years ago, right? Now it's more prevalent, like this attack kind of where you come from, side of the street, color your skin, that sort of thing. But I'm also more aware of our personal judgment because I also had my own history of, mental illness where depression and anxiety were very much a part of my life, and I was very limited. And so that's really, for me, where they're all linked. I judged myself so harshly that I kept myself apart from other people. I separated myself because why would someone want to hang out with me? You know what I mean? What do I have to go up and contribute? I felt so unworthy. And as I separated myself, I was limiting my choices. How can you have possibility in your life if you think so little of yourself and you're squashing your own self down? It starts with maybe one person saying, that's a horrible looking tree when you're in like primary school or something, and you don't know how to draw. We take that, we internalize it, and then it mushrooms, and we just keep feeding the wolf.
The judgment monster.
The judgment monster, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been there as well. The separation, separation and the isolation. I have a girlfriend that I told one time that I really wasn't being a great friend because I wasn't actually reaching out and letting some very close people know of how much I was struggling. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't trusting my friendship with them. And when I did, I said to her, I just closed the curtains and I didn't want to speak to anyone. I was ashamed. Mm-hmm. I felt humiliated. I really thought that there was no place or space for me in the world anymore. And, just that every once in a while she'll message me and she'll just say, are the curtains open?
Wow.
That's all she has to say is, are the curtains open? And it's like, yeah, how many of us close the curtains, hide behind something because we are judging all the ugly bits of ourselves, all the crazy bits of ourselves, all the places and spaces where we've bought somebody else's bullshit that something about us is wrong.
Yes, that's why I love Debbie Ford's, the shadow aspects, right?
Yes.
We need to embrace our shadow aspects as well as the light. And as I move more into, embracing being a light worker, an energy worker, the more I learn about that part of myself, my spiritual being, the more that I also have to love the parts of me that I don't like or that people mirror, constantly. And whenever I get triggered, it's like, oh, I know what that is.
Yes.
Thank you for showing up and showing me the parts that I need to work on.
Right. And I think it's really important to okay, so sorry, there's 1,000 ideas jumping in my head right at the moment. I think it's so critical for each and every one of us to acknowledge the steps that we have taken, mm-hmm. even from yesterday or a week ago. We, as a coach, I work with people a lot, and we're always in the I'm not good enough, or I haven't done enough, or I haven't accomplished enough, right? And we don't take that time to really acknowledge what we have done and what we have stepped forward in, right? It's like, simple little thing. Like a year ago, Renee, I was sitting at my desk 24/7. Like I barely left my desk, right? I was in this huge work concentration of focus. And my body didn't get the love and nourishment and attention and movement that she desired. Mm-hmm. And now, probably 3 to 5 times a week, I walk about 5 kilometers a day. Mm-hmm. Right? And
that, yes.
Right? And really, like, holy shit. Like, that's a huge change. But do you know what I said this morning when I woke up to myself?
What?
Wow, I've been so lazy. I haven't gone out for 2 days.
Oh, yes.
Right? How easy is that for us, Renee, to automatically go look for the where I'm not good enough space?
Yes.
And where we automatically, criticize ourselves. And then we start to lock that judgment in again.
Yes.
And it wasn't exciting. It didn't have me actually put my running shoes on and go for my walk.
That's right. Yeah, it's a well-worn pattern of thinking, and just we're so familiar with it, right? And our subconscious just goes there and goes there. So we have to retrain, reprogram our brains in order to get out of that pattern. And it'll still show up. I mean, even with all of the work I've done, there are still times I trip myself up as well and return to that old programming. But I love that, you've been showing up in the world so beautifully, and I follow along your live, broadcasts and whatnot. And I love that story about you were saying how you couldn't walk for without pain, like for any length of time, mm-hmm. and then you were over the bridge and you were by the river, and we were just following along with you, everybody that was on live with you at that time. it was just wonderful to hear that, and you're like a walking embodiment of the things that I'm learning myself and teaching.
Oh, wow. Wow, Renee, you never told me that before. Thank you so much. Wow. Whew. Okay, I'm receiving. Yeah, it's sorry, I get really excited. I really do believe that one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves is acknowledgement in what we have been choosing. Yes. Acknowledgement in where we have been expanding. Acknowledgement in how we have been choosing forward. Mm-hmm. I think that can very quickly dissipate the self-judgment. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like, you look in the mirror and you go, well, I'm not as thin as I want to be, but I'm strong. And look at the muscles in that leg, and wow, that is a sweet, fine backside you got there, McIver. Look at you go, right?
That's right.
But instead of like, oh, look at the bulge there, and look at that, and look at this, right?
Yes.
What if we were actually seekers of where we have chosen? Because that, for me, when I am in that space of, hey, where did I expand? Where did I step forward? Where did I choose? That the judgment, like when the judgment comes up for me, Renee, I laugh at it then.
That's right. The possibilities then expand as well. Like as we're expanding, then the limits are off. And then we ask ourselves, what are the possibilities? And the list can go on and on and on. And that's why I'm, bringing such light to this topic, because it pains me to see others limiting themselves, and not that it's my job to go in and save everybody.
Thank you. Good.
It is not my job. That's not why I'm here. I'm here for my own experience. But I would hope that while I'm out there, foraging for my own possibilities and expanding myself and finding out what else there is, and what else is possible here, right?
Right.
I hope that while I'm doing that I'm an example, just like you are.
Absolutely, Renee. I mean, just choosing to acknowledge, what is possible and how you have changed something in your life, even if it's just one person. I know that we've got 3 or 4 people listening online right now. So even if it's just one of those people, Renee, in the conversation that you and I have, even if we can be that drop in their life, that drop in their glass of water that actually has them think about that tomorrow, that's the change. That's where we can all eliminate this lie of separation and begin to change the self-judgment and change the judgment of others. I actually did a TV episode. I recorded a TV. I have a TV show, right? And
yes.
I record once a month. So I recorded a couple TV episodes on Tuesday, Monday. I don't know. Tuesday, I think. Time is an illusion to me. Anyways, a day or two ago, and we were really talking about this lie of separation and how we keep putting that in space, and how we keep looking at the differences as a wrongness, and how that's going on so much right now with what we're seeing, about the racism and about the deaths, and how there's so many people now choosing to step up and say, you know what, this doesn't work for me. This is not necessary anymore for us to fight. So how many of us, Renee, are fighting ourselves?
I would gather quite a few, like most people are. I see it even in children, with each other, with themselves, doubting themselves. They can even phone anybody, because why would that person want to hang out with me,
Yes, absolutely. Okay, we're going to go to our next break. And when we're on break, everyone, I want you to come up with 3 things that over the last, let's say, 6 months or even a year, that for sure you've taken at least one or two steps forward in a forward direction where you wanted to. So I want you to look back at where you were and what have you chosen. It can be something very simply like you make your bed every morning when you didn't before, or you drink 3 glasses of water where you didn't drink 1. Anything, any simple little thing, please, I want you to look at that. Come up with 3 things over break, okay? And when we get back, we're going to dive deeper into how we can really change all of this for us and others, and how we can be the change in the world that's required. So stay tuned, everyone. We'll be back with Renee Harrison talking about judging others, separation, and our health.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show.
What if you really do change molecules by your interaction with them? What if the change you've been looking for is right before your eyes? What if the uncomfortableness that comes with difference could be fun? What if the closed-minded people of the world no longer determined our world? What if gratitude trumps judgment every time? What if your kindness healed the world? What if the earth is asking for your help? And what if you had the resources to give it? This is your invitation to step into something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Picasso, Da Vinci, Shakespeare, Aristotle all knew to be true. Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. What if there are no dumb questions, or any question too large? What if you being you are the gift and the change this world requires? Is now the time? For more questions to create a change in your world, sign up for a free video series at beingyouclass.com. My gift to you, beingyouclass.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program today, please call toll-free in the U.S. 815-880-8255, TALK, or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us. Our Skype name is a2zen.fm. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in with us tonight. We're here with Renee Harrison, and we're talking about judging others, separation, and our health. Renee, before we go on, I would love to give out your information where people can connect with you if they would like to know more about what you offer and about the brilliance you're creating in the world. So where's the best place for people to connect with you?
I'm online on a website. It's www.reneeharrison.ca. And I'm also a contributing writer for the Magic Happens.
Right.
.com. And that's an online magazine. And I'm on Skype. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn, Pinterest, About Me. There's about 7 different platforms I'm on.
You can grab this woman all over.
Yes.
Does anybody ever call you easy?
No, I like to complicate things, but, in a good way. Because
well, it's going to be easy for people to... Sorry, I was going to say it's going to be easy for people to find you.
It'll be very easy for people to find me. However, there are a lot of Renee Harrisons in the States, so just watch for that. But,
okay, all right.
The thing that I liken myself to is like a crow. Whenever there's a shiny object, that looks good. That looks good.
Yeah,
I
do the whole thing, like the dog thing. Squirrel. There's another one.
Yes.
So before we went to break, we were talking about, what can we do to change this thing around separation, and how changing this separation with ourselves and with others can really change our health. What do you do, Renee, to start to remove the judgment that you've locked into your body for so many years? because we have, right? We know that we start this judgment thing as a very young child.
Yes. One of the things that I find that helps release some of that tension whenever I'm like getting in my head, getting that monkey mind, is to get up and move. And it's those days when I resist that, go out and walk in nature, feeling that prompting, that it's actually, I believe my spiritual self pushing me out the door. Okay, it's time to take a break, right? Because you're in your head too much. And so when I do listen to that prompt and I get moving, it just, my mind starts to clear, and I start to actually get inspired downloads, I call them. And my mind starts to work in a more positive way, and I start creating rather than uncreating my life. So that's one way. And then whenever I catch myself, when I'm listening to that negative self-talk, I go, change the station, and automatically I'll change to something more positive. And if I can't do it myself, then I'll seek it out on YouTube, or I'll go to your show, or put it on the radio, put in my earbuds, whatever it is, right?
Right.
I just surround myself with positive thinkers.
Right. It's like, what are we filling ourselves up with? It was so funny. I was talking to, who the heck was I talking to? I was talking to someone this morning. I can't remember half the conversations because there's so much going on. But I actually said, if you keep looking for the shit, you'll find the shit. If you really want to change something, you've got to make a different choice. And, when you're in that really heavy place, maybe it's reaching out and talking to a friend. Maybe it's moving your body. Maybe it is like putting on some fabulous music that always makes you smile or laugh. What choice can you make that will begin to change this intensity? And it's not that it's going to wipe it away. I mean, that's what I found for myself. It doesn't wipe it away, but it starts to give me some space around it so I can start to look at it.
We're knowing beings. We know what we know. And so moments of being by ourselves, getting quiet. I mean, if I have to, I have 3 boys, 11, and 13. So sometimes my home, when they have friends over, it's, kind of like a guy's locker, the way they are with each other and the wrestling and stuff. And it's a guy energy. And so there are moments where I take myself off, and even if I have to like hang out in the bathroom and get quiet and, think about something else that, just changes my state, then I do that for myself, or I go sit on the deck, or I, like you said, call a friend. I have to be aware. I can make errors in perception. Because I'm viewing it through my eyes doesn't necessarily mean that it's right, wrong, good, or bad. So how I'm seeing something, I'll sometimes go to somebody I trust and say, I had this thought about the situation. What do you think, right? And get somebody else's opinion. Not that I need to necessarily go outside of myself, but every once in a while I like to check in. And so that's another, state changer, a mind changer.
Yeah. It's interesting, when you said get some space going into the bathroom. I remember when I had young children at home. I don't have kids at home anymore. But I would go into the bathroom and I would put a note on the outside of the door. Mom needs private time. And then I would put towels under the door. It's like,
oh, yes.
And I would put music on in the bathroom, so you can fight all you want. I'm not going to hear you. whatever, right? Yeah, and it was just like, but then I thought about right now, it's like, okay, I live on my own, but sometimes going into the pattern of doing the same thing actually doesn't change it. So, maybe it's going into the spare bedroom where I don't normally go and laying on that bed and just thinking. Because you're in a different space, sometimes it will create something different.
Right. Yeah, for sure. There was a place I rented. It had a beautiful tub, and I set it up almost like a spa in there, so you can, make bets with me for sure that I spent a lot of time in bath, right?
Yes.
Candles all around and that sort of stuff, just to change that around. So
You know what? There's so many things that we can be doing. What I'd really invite people into thinking about is when they start to perceive anything in their health, anything going on in their health, whether it's you have a little bit of a scratch in your throat, or you feel something in your hip, or something in your stomach, or your bowels are acting up. Instead of going immediately to the question of what's wrong with me, right? What if we started to ask, hey, that's unusual. Hey, body, what are you trying to make me aware of? You know, I don't know if you're aware of the Right Body for You body of work. Do you know Danielle Carter? And so that has been, for me, something that she taught me, and I use it all the time, Renee. You know, I haven't been physically sick for probably at least 10 years, if not longer.
Oh,
and, yeah, I haven't paid attention to it very much, but when I got into Access and I started to hear this, when something would come up like getting a quote-unquote cold or whatever, the very first thing that I do is I say, well, that's really unusual, body. What are you trying to make me aware of? So, you know what? It may be that yesterday I did judge myself, or it may be that I've been walking around with a lot of heaviness or anger or you know what I'm saying, like anything like that. And as I ask those questions, it truly does start to have me not solidify anything, but actually going into the question, which may give me an awareness. It may not, but it certainly is greater than if I do go into the conclusion of what's wrong with me.
Definitely. Our bodies are always talking to us. That's what symptoms are all about.
Right.
You know. And
so what's the number one thing that you would want the listeners to keep in mind after this show about the judging others and the separation in their health?
I would like people to know that judgment is one of the ways that we keep ourselves stuck and small, living small in our lives, and that there are so many other possibilities. We came here to experience life, the juiciness of life, and so in order to expand, you can't expand if you're stuck and limited. So just, you know, if you catch yourself in judgment, look at that. You know, find ways to turn yourself around, change your state, talk to yourself nicer, be around people that are more positive and lift you up. If you feel good, then that's a good thing. But if if it's feeling heavy for you, then look at what's feeling heavy and try and lighten it up.
Right. So what can you lighten up in your life today that will change the way that you and your body get to play?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, maybe it's something very, very simply like laughing with a friend. That can change my state of affairs extremely quickly. Renee, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. It was a real pleasure. People, please connect with Renee on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, her website, reneeharrison.ca, and connect with her to see how you can change the separation with you and others regarding judgment and create your health in a way that is so dynamic that your life gets even richer. Thank you, everyone. Come in next week. We'll have another amazing topic.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on A2Zen.fm. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by making the choices that bring you all that you desire.